I had this expression that we would say in the mornings called "You are the author of your own life story" on one of those banners. And so my students, if you ask them to this day, they'll talk about how Mr. Airman was so annoying, talking about how you're the author of your own life story, you're the author of your own life story.
8 years ago, Nick Ehrman walked into classroom 312 at Emory Elementary School in Northeast Washington, D.C. as a fourth grade teacher with Teach for America. He didn't know what he was getting himself into.
My first memories of those 3 months were pretty rough. I mean, I had a very, very difficult time after that first 2 or 3 day honeymoon period, figuring out a way to get my 27 kids all sort of focused on the same task at the same time.
Emory is located just steps from the Capitol in a neighborhood called the Yellow Brick Road. The Brick, as it is called, is a neighborhood whose beauty and tranquility masks a host of social problems: poverty, rampant drug abuse, and violence. The neighborhood took its toll on Ehrman's students, causing them to act out in class.
We have students who are throwing themselves into this classroom and have a lot of tough reactions to what they experience in their homes or on the streets, and they bring that into your room. What was I doing? I was making it worse. The worst kind of reaction for a teacher to have, I learned over time, is an equal and opposite reaction.
Ehrman sought a solution for the problems facing his class. He soon found one.
I brought a camera that I had bought the year before into the classroom as, just to be honest with you, as a way of just filling time in the afternoon when things were really difficult for us.
The camera was an unexpected success with the students.
And they were goofy, they were honest, they were incredibly dignified, and some days they were really laughing hysterically, and other days they were really sort of shy in front of the camera. But there were all these different facets of their personalities that I had never seen before that were coming out on film.
Ehrman started incorporating photography into his teaching and saw many of his students' rough facades disappear.
This is a really powerful way to try to connect with students across a lot of different barriers. And there were plenty of barriers between me and 9-year-old rascals at Emory Elementary School. And so this was my sort of stumbling, mumbling way of finding a connection point to them.
Inspired by this success, Ehrman decided to start a scholarship fund for his kids, which eventually developed into Project 312.
Project 312 is a wraparound youth development organization that helps a group of 27 young people convert high aspirations for college and beyond into academic success.
The nonprofit organization provides academic enrichment activities, tutoring, mentoring, family outreach, and the promise of guaranteed tuition assistance for college. Janae Sturdivant is one of the original students of Classroom 312.
Mr. Ehrman coming and talking about he was going to have a program started for kids that lived in this neighborhood and really didn't focus much in school, because back then I didn't. School was just, I had to go, had to get up, I had to go. I was supposed to go.
Janae, now 16, was accepted into the competitive Knowledge is Power program for middle school and is now on full scholarship at the Bullis School, a prestigious college preparatory school in Potomac, Maryland.
And when I visited Bullis, I knew right then and there that's where I wanted to go. And Project 312 really helped me out with that, because if I didn't have them, I'd probably be going to Dunbar or Shaw, something like that. Schools where I won't even probably be focusing on that education level, just going because I have to.
Bullis has allowed Janae to pursue her passion, photography.
These are some of my pictures. My favorite, which was the self-portrait, is the one that I talked about with the light, which is that one. When I talked about the lights flashing around underneath. I really, really grew into it with Project 312. They had a class that we used to do for photography class, and I just did it just because when they first started it. But as I kept on doing it, started to grow on me a little. My pictures were looking kind of good, and it's like, okay, maybe I could do something with this.
Photography also allows Janae to capture what goes on in her neighborhood.
Like, 'cause I took a picture actually of people out back of my yard. They were selling drugs. It was one picture where the guy had just took out the weed and he had put it in the man's hand, and I got that picture. The other picture was the two men actually rolling it up. And that's when I captured actually what's going on around here. Like what's really, really going on, because people know about it, but you don't see it.
Janae has set her sights on attending a good college in a few years.
I had so many people just helping me out around, and that's why I am here. I'm here now. I'm at Billis now. So.
While Janae is a success story for Project 312, Ermin is the first to admit the program's struggles.
Right now, I think about 4 out of the 27 are not going to school at all. Some are saying, I want help getting plugged into a GED program. Other ones are saying, I just need a better school in the fall.
I mean, what was he going to do? Everything was straight.
Devontae Little is one of the students Ermin worries about.
For some reason, he doesn't feel like, he didn't start high school feeling like academics was a part of his identity that he really wanted to succeed.
Ermin is convinced it's Devontae's environment that's affecting his progress.
It's so funny how you see students who will get C's and D's and F's one semester and then snap their fingers and get A's and B's. I mean, it's really less about ability level and more about their intentions and what they wanted. That's the kind of student he is. So I've been frustrated with him because I think his potential is also, sky's the limit for him.
Devontae also attended the Knowledge is Power program, but felt that path wasn't for him. He now attends McKinley Tech, a public technology high school located next to Emory.
Now, I want to be a music audio producer. And if that doesn't work out, I love cars, so anything with cars.
As of now, Devontae does not plan to attend college. Ermin continues to encourage the possibility, but he also recognizes Devontae's unique strengths.
No one will tell him, you should do this, you should do this, you should do this. Whatever he decides he wants to set his mind to professionally, in this case it's music production, and he will go and knock it out.
The question remains, what separates high-achieving Project 312 students like Janae Sturdivant with others in the program who are still struggling?
The thing the big point here, the overarching point about success and failure in high school in the district is that there's not one type of student. There's not, even in an environment where all these students went to school right upstairs, the same school, same neighborhood, same blocks that they grew up on, same more or less types of experience they had growing up. There is such an amazing amount of diversity in the way that these students fan out over time, the experiences they have, the successes and failures they have.
Only time will tell how the 27 students in Project 312 will fare. Meanwhile, Ermin will be on the sidelines, cheering them on.
I don't miss some of the problems that we had here, but I also don't have to miss the kids either, because we're still 7 years later working together.